Hi everybody and welcome to episode 10 of the Let's Face It podcast. This is my journey with William Thompson. Episode 10 sponsored by Century Electrical, Northern Ireland's leading electrical wholesalers. You can find all your electrical needs or equipment to cater for both the general public and for tradesmen. So hit them up on www.centryelectrical.com and find all your electrical needs. There's various branches throughout Northern Ireland as well that you can check out. So a huge thanks to Collie Donnelly and Century Electrical for your support. It's greatly appreciated, and of course every week the sponsors coming in is very overwhelming and fantastic, and I couldn't do it without it, so thank you very much. What's crack, William?
What's happening, sir? Thank you for having me.
You keeping alright?
I'm all good. Very busy.
Yeah,
I won't lie, I'm just awake about an hour. It's 3 in the afternoon.
But I always listen to your Mudblood podcast, always,
thank
sitting
you,
waiting on your Patreons coming out all the time, and
thank you very much.
Paddy just tortures you about just always being late and all, so you were actually earlier than me today, but I'm late to everything.
I'm getting better. The last few times I've been earlier than Paddy, and I don't say anything about it, because I'm not saying I'm the better person, I just don't say anything about it, whereas he'll torture me for being late. But it's gigging. You're just working long hours, and you don't sleep till about 4 or 5. So it's essentially like a half night shift I work.
Find it tough?
No, I'm used to it.
You're used
I've
to
no real reason to be. When I have to be up in the morning for a meeting or I'm recording something early, then I'm tired. But if I've no reason to be up, I'll not be up till about 11, 12. It's not too bad,
Yeah, and I think I just said the other before we started recording, the first time I met you was at your Mudblood podcast.
Yes.
Whenever I went on to one of the Patreon ones, and one of the first things you said to me about, all comedians, we all have our own story, and I actually found it, and it's something that, since I started the Let's Face It podcast and sharing people's journey, you were always in my head to get in, because it struck with me, and then the more and more I learnt about you and sort of got to know you from afar, you do have a remarkable story in a way, and it does give, I don't know, people who maybe do have disabilities or whatever a chance, and I think with the platform that you have, it does give people hope to go on and do well.
It's one of the nicest things I'll ever get said to me after a show is people with disabilities or people with children with disabilities always come up to me after and be like, that was, they're almost in tears almost. They'll be like, it's so nice to see that on stage. And I will do jokes about my disability. It's about my disability. I don't really joke about other people's. That's not my business to do. But I will joke about mine, and they're like, it's so nice to see that, and that's a really nice feeling. Do you know what I mean? That it feels like you're representing people on a level.
Tell me a bit more about it. What is it, or what's the crack?
I have cerebral palsy, which is an umbrella term for brain damage at birth. It can affect you in many different ways. Mine specifically is spastic hemiplegia on the right side. So the right side of my body, as you can see, is my hand. As I'm not paying attention to it, it cramps up, it comes in like that. When I'm paying attention to it, my hand will be down by my side, because that's me consciously holding it down. My leg does the same. If you can't see it on camera, my heel's not touching the ground because I'm not paying attention to it. It takes a lot of work mentally to notice that, to keep it on, because when I grew up in Denville Park in Tullycarnet, kind of a rough place. My mum didn't want me bullied for being disabled, so she took a lot of steps for my disability not be noticeable. So that's when people go, oh, you wouldn't even know you have a disability. I'm like, yeah, because I work very hard at it. But when I was 6 or 7, my mum would get all the shopping bags that, if she'd been asked that, she'd get all the shopping bags the whole week shopping, tie it around my arm and make me carry them into the house as a way to straighten your arm. Now that is the way physios say to do it. Not everyone makes a 7-year-old carry all the shopping. She would make me do that, and she would make me walk up and down the stairs 10, 20 times a day, just to get me used to putting my feet on the ground. So that's why I do a lot of things that it's not that noticeable.
So there is a lot of work has to go into it.
A lot of work goes into it,
It's interesting. Does it ever affect you? I suppose you're born with cerebral palsy, you grow up with it. Did it ever affect you in your early sort of years, I suppose, in terms of trying to, I don't know, even playing football in the street or anything? Did it affect you that way, or was it? Yeah,
so here's how they found out I had cerebral palsy. When I was about 3 or 4, I just kept falling.
Right.
I just kept falling. They were like, why can't this kid stand upright? And just kept hitting the ground. Took me to a doctor. Turns out I have cerebral palsy. Even to this day, I will fall 3-4 times a day, to the point I've learned how to fall. I know on what part of my body to fall that it doesn't really hurt. I remember I was in Edinburgh with Shane Todd, and we went into Wagamama's, and we were literally talking about what we're going to get to order, and I was like, I might get the katsu, and just the minute I said that, my leg just went up in the air, and I like fell flat back on like a tile floor, and Shane started panicking. I just bounced back up again, man. Don't know if I'll get rice or chips though. And he was freaking the fuck out, and I'm like, I do that daily. You just learn how to fall. Growing up, a weird thing that really affected me was handwriting in school, because my mum also they didn't tell me I was disabled until I was like 11, 12. Did not tell me. They were like, you'll just grow up thinking you're like everyone else, right?
But do you thank them for that?
I do and I don't, because it taught you, look after you have to do things for yourself, but also I'm like, it would have done my self-esteem the world of good to be like, oh, I'm not just really shit at football,
right? Or
I'm not just like really out of shape, and like I do generally have something wrong with me, and I never realised, and I always used to get bullied for this arm coming up, and but you know what's like growing up in Belfast, you do anything remotely different is an implication of homosexuality for some reason.
Yes.
So I'm carrying my arm like I was like, oh, it's because you're gay. I'm like, no, I didn't know I was doing it. So I was growing up and I was like, am I? Is this how you find out you're gay? 'Cause you always do this, right?
But like the opening the crisp packet upside down.
Yeah, or getting your right ear pierced or whatever shit like that. So I was always walking about like that, and I got bullied for things and I didn't understand why I did them. So I was getting bullied for things and I'm like, am I at fault for these things? Because no one else does them. Also, teachers in school would make me sit after class and make me redo my handwriting and redo it because I'm naturally right-handed. I can't hold stuff in this hand, so I had to use my other hand. And teachers would make me sit in like fucking during break time, during lunch to redo work because they couldn't read my writing.
Jeepers.
So there's shit like that.
Yeah.
You look back on annoyed.
Yeah.
But ultimately, no, I'm kind of. A part of me's glad they didn't tell me. Another part's like, do fucking tell me in the future if anything else comes up.
Yeah, it is interesting, and I suppose like you not being able to write, well, obviously be able to write, but not to the best of the way you wanted to be able to do it and stuff like that. Yeah. And then obviously people around you and stuff were obviously better. Did you ever take it this like into school, or what way was it?
I don't know. Because I was so shit at sport,
right?
Not really through my fault. I only enjoyed sport once I started playing disability sport, which is obviously more my level. And I went, oh, I'm actually not terrible at this. I have a mind for it. I just can't do the body aspect of it. I was always a huge nerd as a kid. I'm like the opposite of Paddy.
Right.
No way, he's a hooligan. I was the kid. Like, he'll be out breaking windows and throwing stones at kids. I'm the kid he's throwing stones at. I loved books.
Right.
Growing up, loved books, loved watching old movies, loved writing. We'd just write short stories and like show my parents them just to be like, is this good? The first time we're like, that's amazing. And by the fourth story that week, they're like, yes, class, fuck off. We fucking dork, right? So I always just enjoyed writing stuff and making things. Loved watching stand-up comedy. But that's where I spent most of my life as a kid, was watching wrestling and stand-up comedy videos. I would rarely have went outside a lot of it. For the first few years, because I got so badly bullied, and it's like, there's no point in going outside. People are nice to me out there. I'll sit in here with my wee books.
And you can be nice to yourself.
Yeah, Harry Potter's nice to me. He understands me, the wee freak, right? So I spent like the first 10 years of my life like a fucking hermit, wouldn't go outside at all. And
did it, like, see, getting bullied, what sort of bullying was it, William? Was it people, was it verbal, did anyone ever...
Ranges, do you know what I mean? Like, when I was really younger, you would have just been called names, stuff thrown at you, get a ball kicked at you, and then you'd run in gurning, which is the worst response to bullying ever. Yeah. You shouldn't say it, but the best response is to smack them. You shouldn't say that. It's not the...
We'll keep that in.
Yeah. It's not what schools will tell you to do, but take the detention, stick the head in them. They will leave you alone. Yeah. And then when I went to... So I got bullied just for like being small, looking weird, and being like a squeaky voiced little kid. Got bullied for that. Then when I started going to secondary school, because I moved straight into Dundonald, in a place called Coronation Park, and I started going to a grammar school called Wellington. The bus we shared, the Wellington people shared a bus with people from who went to Newton Breda. A lot of the people who went to Newton Breda were from Tullygarnet and stuff and knew me. Yeah. And so I was then getting bullied for going to a grammar school. Right. So it was...
Because that's not where people
they're like,
come from.
Look at this fruit. Yeah. He knows how to read. So I used to get really badly bullied on this bus. Really badly. But one time, they took my own tie off me and tied me with my own tie to like the bus railing, and then just gave me pink belly, which is very emasculating to be stripped of your own clothes and tied with it. That happened to me. I eventually just got a different bus.
Jeepers.
And then even in the school that I went to, there was a guy bullied me a few years above for being disabled, called me half a side. That stopped when I smacked him, even though he was 2 years older. I'm like, smack your bullies is what I'm saying. You may not win, but just smack them, and they will leave you alone.
And like standing up to that, like that is that's horrific. I didn't realise how bad it actually was.
But I don't see it as that.
Yeah,
you're just used to it.
Yeah, and that's sad too in a way that you are just used to it.
Yeah,
you know, and that is its own sort of trauma, if you want to say, growing up. Like
that's definitely, I think, where I developed. I'm very good at slabbering, like back and forth. To people. Yeah. Like, that's why it lends itself well to stand up if I get heckled.
Yeah.
I'm fucking really good at put downs. Yeah. That's like probably my strongest thing.
Because you've got it all your life, basically.
That, yeah, and I'm like, you're going to make a joke about me being shit, being ugly, or being disabled. It's going to be one of those three things. I know what you're going to say about me. You don't know what I'm going to say about you. Yeah. So you have that leverage.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like Kieran Bartlett. He knows someone will heckle him for being a larger guy. He can heckle you for anything.
Yeah. So interesting. It's and then I suppose like that bullying and all happened. Like, did that go into your teenage years or what?
It kind of stopped when I was about 14, 15 because by then I had a real chip on my shoulder. And throughout my life I was never really rude. I was quite an innocent wee boy just sitting with my books. By about 14, 15 I just had a fucking enough. I went too much the other side, became a real cheeky bastard, would start fights with people for no real fucking reason, would tell a teacher to fuck off, which was weird because I was always so quiet that it turned into that, but it kind of stopped after that.
But do you know, I was actually a wee bit like that.
Yeah.
Like see, from growing up, and I've spoke about this before, about my trauma and stuff like that, and then I got probably that 14, 15, 16 age, like third, fourth, fifth year, where then I started to act out and get in trouble in school, and as you say, with teachers and stuff like that, even in matches, getting sent off. But it's only recently from I went to rehab and went and looked at myself and my behaviour. What I was actually trying to do then was get attention and just be loved by people because I've never felt it before.
Exactly, yeah.
It's amazing.
I get that, yeah. I think I still carry that. I wouldn't do the job I do if on some level I didn't want that.
Yeah, of course, and we're always seeking that validation that you're brilliant, you're very good, and all this here.
You're almost addicted to it. Like if you get it from one person, I'm like, I want it from everybody.
Yeah, of course.
But it's contradictory. You'll never get that.
Yeah.
No one in the world will ever get everybody in the world going, you're amazing.
Yeah.
You can be the best at anything and you still will get someone who doesn't like you.
Yeah, that's class. And then so what about so you're coming up, you're in 15, sort of, you're definitely in the comedy now, is it? Is this, have you decided what you want to do? You've grown up or?
I always loved it.
Right.
I think from about the age of about 11, 12. From the age of about 11, 12, it's what I was doing. You asked me what I wanted to be, it was comedian. I just loved all of it. I would just watch the tapes over and over again. I'd watch every sitcom, you name it, I've seen it. I've seen every panel show, I've seen loads of specials. I just always grew up loving this thing because it was mental to me that just sitting and fucking about was a job. Now that I do it, I realise it's not that.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder than just sitting and fucking about. It's a lot more stressful than that.
Yeah.
But just getting laughs as a job, I'm like, that's insane.
And do you do it full time?
Yeah, I've been full time for about a year now, yeah.
And how is that?
I'm making definitely more money than even when I worked. The frustrating part is I'll gig flat out. Like my birthday's this week, I will be working my birthday. I worked my birthday the year before that. I worked my birthday the year before that. The year before that was the pandemic, so I didn't. But 2 years before that, I worked my birthday. Yeah. You don't get time. We can't afford to really take time off. Yeah. There's no bank holidays for me. There's no summer holidays. Even Christmas, I'll be working up until Christmas Eve. So you're working flat out. For me, in my eyes anyway, to be really, really, really good at comedy, and I still wouldn't say I'm nowhere near that, but to be amazing, it has to be all you do. Yeah. It's the main thing in your life.
I think it's nearly like anything, isn't it? If even take Sean there for an example, if he's going and working and doing the video work and stuff like that, if he's not all in and wanting to do the best and getting you back to the mudblood and the best clips and stuff like that, then you know it's going to be half hours. Then the clips are going to be half hours. Then it's like a big conveyor belt. You know,
I suppose it would be like playing sports. Girlfriends and parties came secondary because I've training on a Thursday, can't go out. I'm matching a Saturday morning, can't go out the Friday. I'm recovering Sunday morning, can't go out. I don't really drink because I'm looking after myself. So everything comes second nature to that thing. You have
to put your life and soul literally into it. I think Joe Rogan was saying that the other day in a podcast too about like earning money and stuff like that, and he was like, you literally need to put everything you have into your whatever you want to do.
Like I earned a lot of money recently doing shows, and I've spent all of it on a setup, like a camera setup and editing software and mics and stuff
in yourself
to put it back into myself. And
that's class, and that's good. It's a good way to be, because people go out and they make money. Like I've actually made that mistake whenever I went to England and stuff. Like on really good dough, got dough for playing hurling and stuff on the building site. Like money coming everywhere, and I was like,
once you've got so much there, it's not money, it's like just a number,
and that did help an awful lot in my addiction in coke and drink and madness. So
100%,
just laid the absolute. So whereas now, when you're trying to pick up a few quid and do well, you're trying to, like, you know, as you say, put it back into all this and stuff like that, and it works. Like you're right,
so that's when people, I've never understood people. I did until I had a lot of money and fucked it. I'll get to that. But when people are like, I'd love to win the lottery and never work again. No, you wouldn't. That's fun for about a month or two. But then once you have nothing really to drive for and nothing really to do with the money, you would lose your mind.
100%.
Because you have so much free time, resources to basically get drunk, do drugs, do anything you want. You're going to burn through that, and you're going to just feel bored. Because drinking's fun when you've been working all week. And you need to blow off steam. When all you're doing is drinking, very, very depressing. You know, it's very...
Have you any experience of getting into sort of holes with drinking or anything like that, like me?
Oh, yeah. So we skipped forward a few years, and so my mum and dad split up when I was 16. My dad wasn't in the house, so I lived with my mum.
That's tough, isn't it?
Not really.
Right.
Because I didn't like him.
Right.
I'll not really get into it. It's a whole thing, and that's a dark thing I won't really speak about on podcasts, because he also listens and he'll kick my fucking again. And so I didn't like him. I wasn't that sad when he left. To this day, he tries to speak to me. I don't speak to him. So then I lived with my mum and my sister, and then my mum passed away when I was 18. That was worse, because you're then by yourself at 18 with no parents. That's difficult. But the part that made that worse is when my mum passed, she gave me a lot of money to inherit, but I never went to therapy. I never looked after myself. You very much self-medicated, and you've got all this money and you spend it on drinking. Until the age of about 17, I never even smoked. I never drank. I never did anything. By the age of 20, I've done every drug. I have. You ask me a drug, I have done it.
I think we're probably both the same. Actually, that age group. I mean, definitely.
So, you've got all this money. There's no incentive to work. You will sit and just basically get out of your fucking mind for I will say about 2 years, second and third year uni. I didn't do a day sober. I mean, and I don't mean I was drunk every day. I mean, there wasn't a day went by where I wasn't on some form of drugs. So I remember in my bedroom in uni, it was like it was a nice house, but just on my bedside table, like here, there was just a plate that constantly just had like a mound of cocaine on it, and I would wake up in the morning, I would do 2-3 lines of coke,
just to get you going,
just start my day.
Yeah, I was the same.
Yeah, and then once you do that coke, you go downstairs, roll a joint, and you smoke that joint, sort of like negating the effects of either drug and just hurting your heart. But that was my life for about 2 years, and you'd be partying heavily and you'd be doing wild shit, and not even like, oh, it was crazy. You know, the kind of party you're sitting there being like, we need to go home, someone's gonna get hurt.
It's actually scary, like with all them like it's nearly like you're sitting in a party, a house, sometimes no electric, no nothing, but if there's a load of drugs out, like me and you sitting here now on this sofa, around each other, how much we love each other, and what we're going to do tomorrow, we're going to get up and go for breakfast and all, do you want to be best mates and all this madness, and then before you know it, you come around
talking about starting a business.
Like complete and utter
nonsense,
and the amount of conversations I've had with people like that, like, it's scary. And then the next day, and then the come down.
Oh.
Or even, you wouldn't even let it,
No.
Sometimes you wouldn't even let yourself have a come down, you would just keep going and
Yeah,
keep going and keep
I was
going.
constantly avoiding that come down.
And did it come down ever just smash you in the face, like, or was it ever like...
So there did come a point, there was like rock bottom for me.
Yeah.
One of the guys I was living with was my best friend from, I'm going to say P2.
Okay.
So from when we were about 6 until this point, we we're about 21, 22. Because I had so much money, he was struggling with money. I was lending money. I had a lot on me, it didn't bother me. And I would still, to this day, that's the kind of person that I am. If I have a $5 in my pocket, I'd give it to someone.
100%.
I wish I wasn't like that. Can't help it.
But
Cannot help it.
there is a thing behind that. Remember we were talking there now about the behaviour thing and all, but I only found out about myself. Like, I'd be the same as you.
Yeah.
Because I know what it's like to feel that way, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that other person feeling that
That's
way.
100% me. I'm like, if I can help someone in some form,
Yeah.
I will do it.
Yeah.
So he ended up, this guy, I won't name him, no way he's listening to it, but he knows who he is anyway, right? He definitely doesn't watch my stuff anymore. He ended up owing me about $3,000, right? We were living together. We were out for our other housemate's birthday. He said he was sick, he wouldn't come out. And then me and my housemate came home from his birthday party to throw an after party to find he had just taken all of his stuff and moved it out of the house. So while he knew we were out of the house,
Yeah.
he got like his mum or dad or whatever to come, and he like took his TV, he took everything in the house. He took my grinder with weed in it, which fucked me off the most, because I'm like, you thieving cunt. And I really wanted a joint, and it was a good grinder. And I didn't see that. I didn't see that dude for like a year, trying to find out where he was. He wouldn't reply to messages, he just would not pay me back the money. Found out where he was at, I ended up having to go down to the door. You know, didn't hit him as such, you know, just threatened to. The money got paid eventually. But it was more, even after he paid the money, he's like, oh, are we sweet now? And I'm like, absolutely fucking not. Been best friends for like 17 fucking years, and you can just do that. Suck my dick.
It's probably not even about the money too. It's
It
everything
wasn't.
else that comes
It
with
was
it.
absolutely, yeah. And he knew my home situation, he knew all that.
Yeah.
And he knew the difficulty, and just still went, oh, fuck you. And that kind of woke me up. I was like, you are a selfish cunt. Weird thing is, even when we were younger, my mum didn't like him. Yeah. Couldn't pinpoint why. She went something off about that wee cunt. Just hated that kid. Didn't, and never told me why. I just did not like him. And then I was like, fuck, I get it.
Yeah.
He's a cunt.
Understood where she was
Yeah.
coming from. But that is quite a lot they all take on, isn't it?
Yeah.
With him, like you could go on, like you're 16, your parents then split up, and then your mum unfortunately passes away, and then you're in that university life, and then you've money, and then it's just like, so that like 6-7 year period is just fucking nuts. Like,
Oh, insane. And the thing about my mum passing away too, which is so mad, she was 38, and she was fine, completely healthy, and then just one July she wasn't feeling well, went to the doctors, they kept saying, you're fine, you're being silly. Because we had this doctor who was a fucking bastard. Like, yeah, I've never seen a doctor who actively hates having to help people. I went in one time with tendonitis and went, oh, it hurts when I run, what can I do? And he went, stop running.
Don't run.
I was like, you've nothing? You've no ice, even? Fucking prick. I hated this guy. Like, I hope he's dead. Right? Honestly, and I hope it was slow. And my mum kept going in, he's like, you're fine, stop wasting my time. That was his general attitude. She ended up going private. They were like, they did a scan, they were like, no, you have really advanced cancer, like this should have been caught far earlier. And so she got diagnosed in August and was dead by January. So that was a very intense, like, it wasn't like, you know, some people, it's a 4 or 5 year battle, something. It was like 5 months.
5 months.
So it was a really weird time. And during that time, my sister went to live with grandparents. I was just living by myself in my house, which was nice as a teenager. You have the house to yourself, but it's also very depressing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that whole time fucked me up too. And then I just continued self-medicating, drinking, drugs, all that. Then when that guy left the house, I went even worse. Like, I mean, I was doing about 2 grams of cocaine a day.
Just escaping reality.
Yeah. To the point I remember I would do cocaine till I got nosebleeds. And when I got nosebleeds, I would switch nostril. I would plug up this nostril and just do cocaine up this one until it would start bleeding. That's the amount of coke I was doing. And then I remember I did try to kill myself with an overdose at one point. And after I woke up from the overdose, I took a load of citalopram, which is a strong antidepressant.
Yep.
If you're going to overdose, don't overdose on antidepressants. You do feel buzzing after, but it's not good. I remember just waking up being right, I need to fix this. I need to stop really drinking, stop doing drugs, still smoked weed, because it's hard to go completely cold turkey off things.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and that was the moment I was like, I need to take comedy seriously, because I need to do something to keep me busy.
Yeah, and it's the energy. Like,
Yeah.
So I've spoke to loads of people about this before too, about like, everyone has a different type of energy for different things, right? So see, whenever you're caught up in that addiction, like I'm not saying you were caught up in addiction, but you were caught up in a bad place. It takes an awful lot of energy to do that.
I was a diagnosed alcoholic.
Right, so there you are. Like, and it takes a lot of energy to actually do that. Like, get drink, get coke. Like, even if you're trying to hide it from people, hiding it from people.
Yeah.
Like, that is like all energy.
Yeah.
So imagine you took all that energy out and put it into comedy.
Yeah.
And that's basically what you're saying you want to do.
Yeah. And because I have a very addictive personality, I can get addicted to anything. Which is even now, I haven't drank since I came back from the Edinburgh Fringe. And I'm in the mindset I'm in right now. I'm like, I've no desire to even drink.
Yeah.
I don't miss it. I feel so much better. Because I noticed myself slipping into drinking 4 or 5 days a week again. I was like, this isn't good. It gets to the point when someone goes, oh, you're drinking again? And you're kind of like, and you're like, I've no real excuse at this point.
Yeah.
I am just drinking the drink. But that's how I've noticed I get addicted to shit very, very fucking quickly. Very quickly. So what I'm addicted to now is stand-up and getting a good reaction. To the point I'll get depressed if I don't do well, because I didn't get my hit of like, oh, good feeling.
Yeah, and we did mention that. Did you can't please everyone? So
No.
there has to be a certain sort of... Like I did, I went to watch you in the Fela, and it was the first time...
Was that with Paddy?
Yeah, the second night.
Yes.
No, the second night was Shane, wasn't it? No, you were the first night then.
I was both nights. Was it last year?
No,
this year?
there now.
This year I was with Shane.
You were with Shane then, the second night, and it was brilliant. It was class. Like the first night was the first ever comedy gig I've ever been to, and I only went because of yous, because I've sort of got to know yous and stuff like. And I thought it was amazing. But and then obviously the more and more I looked through your stuff, and I did mention to you at the start there about that guy who wrote underneath one of your comments about having cerebral palsy. I think he said. About you going on, what did he say about being a young lad?
He went, William always brings up how young he is, but because he has cerebral palsy, he'll die in like 20 years, so he's not that young. That is funny.
That's funny, but I'm like, that's a reaction from one of your fans or whatever, or feedback. Like, how can you, is there like a line of like, whenever someone is really going at you, or what's the worst thing someone's ever said to you that's made you feel really internally bad? Or questioned your ability to do comedy?
Here's the thing, it's not really about what they say, it's where I'm at when I read it sometimes. Okay. And I know everyone's advice is don't look at the comments, it's impossible. You can't. It's like
even whenever I go to play a match, right, and this is mad, sometimes, I'm giving away almost secrets here, but like there's a GA discussion board where people go in, make up a name, say fucking Aqua Bottle of Water, and Donald Nugent, shit, shouldn't be nowhere near the Antrim team or whatever. Like, and I would take that to heart, and I don't even know who's saying it. Do you know? And I would go on and read it, and it probably could ruin my week. And I know for a fact, because I've talked to other players about it, that they go and read it too. So if I go actively search into the GA discussion, it's not like someone's writing underneath my Instagram.
No,
you know? So people are actually writing.
Yeah,
so people are. You could be standing on a stage and someone could shout something at you, or you could be posting something and someone write underneath like you're a muffler or something. Like.
Shouting. Here's the thing: on stage. Doesn't bother me. I'll win that. I'm very good at that. Dealing with hecklers, that I can deal with. It's the online thing. Is like you can't even see them. So they and it's not even they question your comedy ability. They because you do podcasts, they'll go through every aspect of your personality, everything about how you look, how you talk, how you dress, where you're from, the way you've done your hair, and they'll just go through it all. And they'll fucking and by the end of it, you're like, fuck it. If you don't like me, just don't watch me. It's not the hardest thing in the world to turn me off, but then you can't get in that mindset because then you're just angry at your phone all the fucking time. But it's not a lot of time. It's not about what they say. Normally, when they critique something, they're calling me not funny. I'm like, you're allowed to not find me funny. You're absolutely allowed to do that. I know I'm good at stand up because I've done it every week for almost 10 years. I know that. I know I'm at a good level of this. Do you know what I mean? But then again, you can't reply with that because you seem arrogant. The best thing to do is just ignore it. The only time it really bothers you is if you're feeling low already. It's a rough day. You're already beating yourself up. And then you flick on your phone to watch a bit of YouTube. Notification comes up. Kill yourself, you fat spastic. And you're like, it's 9 on a Monday.
Yeah.
Leave me alone, for fuck's sake.
Wait to 10.
Yeah. But wait until I've had a coffee and some Weetabix in me at least.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? BBC Breakfast is still on.
And the reason why I did ask you that is because, like, even by just chatting to here, we're very, very similar types of people who do sort of, by someone giving us a compliment, gives us a spring in our step. So whenever someone doesn't, or someone who's bad, like it.
Weird thing, when someone gives me a compliment, I don't believe them.
Well, I'm the same too.
I'm like, what's your game? What are you really trying to?
He has an agenda.
Yeah, he's trying to play me.
Yeah, he's looking something.
Yeah, and I also don't. If someone's like, that was a great set, I'll be like, I messed up one joke 3 minutes into a 40-minute set. That was shit. And you've seen me do that. Like, I'll come off and be like, I fucked up one joke, or one joke didn't land the way it should land, and I'm upset about that.
Yeah, and you hear, I've heard it a couple of times before, like if a person does 10 bad things, or 10 good things and one bad thing, he'll just focus on that one bad thing. And like sometimes we do need to cut ourselves a wee bit of slack and be like, right, do you know what? And we're out there doing 10 class things there. Yeah. Fucking look yourself and say, fair play, do you know? But no,
I'm focusing on
our
what
heads,
I fuck up. And they're like, you did that well. I'm like, I'm supposed to do that well. That's not. That's my job to do that well. It's not my job to fuck that up. Yeah. But it's good and bad because you can take being overly negative and really self-critical. But if you actually apply it, if you're just beating yourself up but not doing the work behind it, you're just beating yourself up for no reason. If you're beating yourself up and then going back and rewriting the joke, in my case, rewriting the joke or looking at how it's delivered and be like, where did it go wrong? That's helpful. So, like, if you fucked up a pass, if you go and you do a couple of passing drills that week, that's useful self-criticism. If you're just going to sit in the bath crying because you fucked up that one thing, that's not helpful. Yeah. And I'm trying to learn that more. Do you know what I mean? Instead of just sitting and hating myself, being like, okay, what can I do to make sure that doesn't happen?
Make it better. Yeah. And that's like taking action.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And if we don't take action and things, it's actually amazing. It's exactly what I done sort of last week. I remember coming in here and we had Paddy Barnes in the last podcast. Yes. And me and Sean were sitting talking after it, and he was like, you alright? No, because I was in a boot. I'm waiting on an operation to get on my ankle, and I'm sort of missing the championship. And he's like, you alright? No, give me a shout. You want to go for a coffee? And I actually said, am I alright? Do you know what I mean? I was actually like, he has a point there, do you know? And sometimes people can recognise it in you before you recognise it. And I was like, right, that's it. Take time away, focus on myself, and that's taking action by making yourself alright then, instead of going, no, I'll feel sorry for myself even more, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then before you know it, like, there's negativity, and there's negativity all around you then, and then like you can't get out of it. So, everything just gets grey. Yeah. That's when I've been proper depressed, just nothing brings you joy at all. And everything is just numb and like, it's not, people think being depressed is like you're gurning and you're crying all the time. It's you feel nothing. Yeah, it's a complete rut of like, I don't know, I'll even check on people if I've seen them like 2-3 days in a row and they haven't done their hair. Yeah. And they're starting to smell a bit, and not in a nasty way, but I'll be like, are you alright? Like, I won't go in front of everyone, you're a smelly bastard, but I'll be like, no offense, you stink, is everything okay? Like, are you washing? Because that's how I can now tell. When someone is in a bad way, I know the signs now because I'm like, I did that. Yeah, 100%. And that's good that you can like the whole idea of us going through our troubles and stuff like that, and getting to the other side is that if anything ever does sort of try and creep up again, because it happens, we're still young. Yeah, we are going to go through adversity. We're still going to make loads of mistakes. But if we see that something is going a wee bit downhill, then we've had the experience of being in them holes before, and absolutely, and of course. Like going on to like you having the platform that you have now, you've done very, very well. I mentioned at the start, you do give people hope who have disabilities, but also people, and I didn't know the extent of where you were at with drinking drugs, but also people who were struggling with that. We're both trying to give hope. Yeah. Do you know that there is a way out of the madness, because it is madness. Yeah. That you're in, like. And it's what I learned is fucking really can. Through not no fault of your own, but like shit can just hit you, and it's just life. It's just random, and you can just get a bad hand sometimes, literally, 100%. And that's just what happens. Do you know what I mean? And it's not through you've done anything wrong, or and that's what it really made me more empathetic. I'm like, it makes me go like, many homeless people are just fucking unlucky.
And many people in the streets that you see, when they're like, Irish a fucking spice head, but is he just unlucky?
Yep.
And he wasn't equipped to deal with what he's been hit with, because how fucking could you be? I'm aware that if things hadn't went a different way, I could have been one of those people. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So
very, very easily.
Very easily.
Yeah. And it's like, it's a famous saying from Sister Concilio, the rehab centre I went to. It's like, I am not my addiction.
Yeah.
Like, we are not cocaine addicts, we are not alcoholics, of course, like we came across and stuff like that there, and we'll go to meetings and try and act on it, but underneath all that, there's a soul and there's a heart and there's a good person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But you're dealt with cards of, you were born with a disability, something might happen to you when you're a child, a traumatic experience, someone may die, that you might not, you can't grieve properly, so there's all these different things happen. It's how we react, and then all of a sudden you can get caught up, and then you can end up in the streets.
Yeah,
but then that person's automatically labelled, you're a scumbag, because you're not.
You never get anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, no, dude can't just be unlucky.
And that word, like having a wee bit of empathy for people, can go a long way, and it can change someone's life actually. Like by showing someone a wee bit of empathy and getting them a wee bit of hope. That's
what I find with the internet in general, not even related to comments about me or anything. Just whenever you read a news story, or you see someone post a status about so. And you're like, do you fuckers have no compassion?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, this person fucking tweeted something a bit offensive. Let's ruin their life. Or this person made a mistake. Let's cost them their job. Yeah. And you're like, is there no empathy at all for things?
We all make mistakes.
Yeah. This guy wore a slogan that I don't agree with. Never play again. And you're like, really?
Yeah.
Are you just going to go straight to the torches and fucking mobs, just trying to ruin someone's life? It really frustrates me with social media. There's very little empathy.
Yeah, I think it's a society thing too, that everyone's just out to get each other.
I think in this country especially.
Yeah, it's mad.
There's something as well with the comedy, I think, and just I think performing in general, even sport and music and everything else, that you're up there on a pedestal, and I think people feel like they want, if they're not feeling good about themselves, they want to bring you down a peg or two.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People will be like, he's a wanker or whatever, and I maybe some people are. I always try to be nice. Yeah. If I'm ever not nice to someone and they meet me in person, it's because they've been steaming and just can't right in my face, and I'm like, right, fuck off them, I'll talk to you, but they won't remember it like that. But I always try to be really fucking nice to people off stage. So then when they're like, I know him, he's a dickhead, I'm like, what did I do to you?
Yeah, 100%. But you're always going to get people like that.
Always.
And that's what, and and I said it there last week about other people's opinion. Or I done a wee video actually for Instagram. It was other people's opinion of you is literally on here. But why do you care? Do you know what I mean? Try and get it out of your head. Of course, we're all going to, listen to some bits and pieces, and especially bad things to try and get us down and stuff. But the more you can focus on the positivity and have a plan of where you're going, then spurs everyone else off to the side, and that's a good place to be in.
Yeah,
powerful place to be in.
Yeah,
because and a very, very scary place to be in, because you talk about energy, and if you have a good energy going to do something that you really want to do, then there's no limit.
That's the thing. I'll take criticism if it's I put a joke out or I'll put a sketch out and I'm critical of it myself, and I'm like, I don't know if this works, and if a comment goes, didn't like this bit, I'll be like, that just confirms what I knew.
Yeah.
Or I'll take a bit of criticism if I'm like, that's a valid point, I didn't do the joke the right way, or I didn't deliver it, I'll take that, because that's different
when it's
than
personal, but when it's
that's different than just outright, I hate this fucking ugly fat don't listen to that. So that's just a raging cunt. And I remember there was, I'll not name them, there was a big trolling group that was big in Northern Ireland. It was around the time of the flag protests, right, and these guys were formed. And one of the guys who was in it did stand up, right, and he told a lot of people this is how I found out how they worked. This organisation had hundreds of accounts, and they would troll local comics, they would troll local politicians, they would troll local figures. Some of the people that trolled aren't my cup of tea, not performers, political people, but these guys would make hundreds of fake accounts and fucking relentlessly, torture these people. And this guy told me, I was laughing, and I'm like, you're a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, why?
And this guy, he got moderately famous off this. He was quite well known here. And everyone's like, he would see himself as a political figurehead. I knew the guy. He was a fucking idiot. A proper fucking dickhead, But he seemed himself as a fucking genius. I think that's how a lot of like proper trolls see themselves.
Yeah, but I think like if someone can come out and actually actively wake up in the morning and be like, I'm going to go out and actually ruin this person, they have serious internal problems with themselves.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But knowing this guy and knowing what he did, I was like, you've just given me the insight of like what your kind of people are like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's weird as fuck.
Yeah.
Wouldn't make eye contact with you, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's, you can say a lot about a person whenever they do that too.
My friend helped me out, and I was like complaining about a YouTube comment, and I was getting really upset about it. He's turned around and went, who the fuck comments on YouTube?
Yeah.
And I was like, when have you ever enjoyed anything or hated anything and been like, I need a comment? Do you know what I mean? Loads of people do it, but like, who the fuck seriously, like, sitting down and proper giving a breakdown of what they liked and didn't like? You're like,
a review on TripAdvisor.
You have too much time, man.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's especially the ones that says like they've created their account like
2 days ago or 2 weeks ago.
You're like, you made this account and make a comment.
And this is the thing we've all found. I remember speaking to Gaddis about this, and he brought this up too. YouTube now has a feature. If I click on your name, I can see your comment history on my posts.
Okay.
I can see everything you've said, and you'll get these pages that are like, 1 week they're like, you're terrible, quit, just quit. Next week, amazing, best podcast they're about, best ever. Next week, shite, rubbish. Next week, brilliant. So they're just trying to fuck with you.
It's mad, isn't it?
And it's weird that they do it that much. But there's certain profiles, I'll see them under everyone's podcast, and they're doing this to everyone. 1 week they'll love me and Paddy, and they'll hate Mickey and Colin. Next week, Colin, Mickey, you two are brilliant. William and Paddy have lost it, not good. Dave, you're better than Shane. Next week, Shane, you're better than Dave. And it's like, why are you trying to... What are you doing?
Like, what is your agenda?
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? But anyway, the word of social media and is so it is scary, like, isn't it? But it can be used for good things.
Absolutely, I wouldn't have my career if it wasn't
100%. And over lockdown, I suppose too. Like just from knowing Paddy, like his whole career probably blossomed like over the pandemic. Like, so, like, it can be used for good things for that side of business, and then I suppose for what we're trying to do here and getting people to come out and talk about their problems like openly, because like we're both. Are you 25 as well?
25, yeah.
Both 25. Like, we're young lads and we're males, and it's probably the hardest thing to do. Like, two males sitting here on a sofa talking about our deepest sort of insecurities and fears and traumas, but it's okay. I feel it is okay.
Because you're really not raised to do that.
You're not raised to do it. And I think it's...
I still don't cry.
Yeah, and I think that is like a thing where from... like our parents and their parents, even with the troubles and stuff, like they were brought up to say nothing and to not show emotion and to get on with it, basically. And like, you come from one end of the bridge and I come from the other, like and no, that doesn't matter in my eyes. It's still the same sort of concept of they went through the troubles and stuff like that, and that's the way they were brought up. So I think that was sort of brought into our lives too, and it was just sort of like
I find it weird when someone from our gen... I understand older people, if they maybe are still sectarian, I understand that. Maybe you just won't change that ever. When they're our generation and they are properly sectarian, I'm like, you're weird.
I don't understand. I don't like. And even though like I play hurling and Gaelic and all, and I remember the first time I talked to you and you were like, "Is hurling the one where you're like?"
And you were amazed I'd never heard of
I
a Gaelic
was
sport.
amazed that you have never. Do you know? And it was, and you're literally like, you probably live 10 minutes away.
100%.
Do you know? And it's actually mad. And but things are starting to change, aren't they?
Yeah, it's genuinely when someone's like 25 and they're like, say if someone's like, I hate Huns or I hate Catholics, can't stand them, I'd be like, go somewhere else. Like, go experience the fucking world. Because no one really should give a shit at our age.
100%.
It doesn't matter really at this point. You can disagree.
Yeah.
Or you have different viewpoints. That's completely fine. But I don't understand that it's proper hatred now. I don't get that.
No, I don't get it too. And it has to just come from their parents. It
has to. I've been told something I've never questioned.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like it has to be the way you're brought up. So, but definitely in terms of like me and like hate, I think hate's a very strong word. But I do know people who would be like who have probably never had a conversation with a Protestant. Do you know that?
Yeah.
As far as that, like, and that. That's concerning, like, that is, but it is getting better, and it is like, and it's only for the better.
Yeah, it's something that still amazes people in this country. If I do a gig in somewhere that's like heavily Republican, and they're like, "Are you not afraid?" I'm like, "It's not 1983. Nothing is feasibly going to happen to me."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they're like, "Do you mention you're Protestant?" I'm like, I do. I lean into it because that's funnier.
Like, at the feel that was very, very good.
Show.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get on to that now too. Well, because you go on and you're a comedian, you do well, and then all of a sudden you're on BBC and then Channel 4, and then William of Orangedale comes along, and wow, that's class, isn't it? Like, or how good was that, or was it? Am I just thinking it's better than what it is, or?
It's weird because now it used to be you were on TV, like the BBC won the Comedy Awards. They were on a Saturday night 9:30. If you were on a BBC One at Saturday night 9:30 and you were doing well, your career was fucking made.
Yeah, like a Tim McGarry, that was like.
But this wasn't even just BBC NI. This was
BBC,
UK.
Yeah.
This was everywhere. Yeah. This was like live at the Apollo slot. Is what that got. And honestly, people know me more from TikTok than being on BBC One at 9:30. The Channel 4 one a little bit more well known. They still know me more from online stuff.
Is that just is that a society thing? Is that a generational thing?
That's just the way the world
is.
The
way
now.
The world is.
Yeah.
Like you probably do better out of the back of social media rather than being on TV.
100%, and you can also control what you do. When you do TV, there's a lot of you have to send them script. You can't joke about certain things. And it's not like I want to make really offensive jokes all the time. Sometimes I do. I just don't like being told
sit on the fence.
What I can and can't say. I just don't like it. I understand why they need to tell me that. I also don't like it. So your best thing is still do TV work. It's good to do. You'll get more industry recognition, but on the street and in the public in general, it's social media. Yeah, is really, really the more important one.
And do you all your social media platforms just you?
Yeah.
Or do you have someone doing all that?
I do.
You do it all, and that's like because you're always actively doing something on social media too. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Is there ever any times where you do just go off the grid for a couple of days to get a break?
No.
Serious?
I can't think. Since we came back after lockdown, I can't think of the time I've had more than 2 days off.
Serious?
I really can't. I'm thinking I can't. That I haven't done anything. I haven't written, or I haven't performed, or I haven't done a podcast or made a social media post. I think 2 days is the longest time.
And you're okay with it?
Yeah. I'm used to it. I like it.
Yeah.
Part of me is like I would like a break, but I also can't afford to take one. Do you know what I mean?
You're trying to build your brand, aren't you? And
yeah.
And when your brand, it's not a company you're working for, it's you.
It's me, exactly.
You have to put everything into it, like, because there's no other. You can't go and say, I'll just leave it and go to another. You know, it's literally all in or nothing. Like, you know, and that takes serious dedication and commitment. But back to the energy thing and addicts, like, there's no better people.
That's it. I just have that in me. I need to be addicted to something.
Yeah, be successful and do something with a business or sporting or whatever they want to do. Because whenever they get hooked, they are hooked, like, definitely, 100%. But and then we've talked about, well, you brought it up about the football, and then you says about finding your level, about playing disability sports, and I know you went and played for Northern Ireland, didn't you?
Yeah, Northern Ireland cerebral palsy team. Yeah,
cerebral palsy team. What was that like?
It was awesome because I used to hate football.
Yeah,
I could never play it. I was always too slow. And obviously, as I got older, I realised, because I didn't find out I was disabled. That's how I found out I was disabled.
Right.
I did an open day for the school football team, and the coach of the football team sent a letter to Northern Ireland cerebral palsy team saying, oh, the guy with cerebral palsy plays football.
Yeah.
And then they sent me a letter, and I opened it, and I'm like, they've asked me to play for a cerebral palsy football team. I don't have that. My parents were like, you do actually, yeah. Which is never really told you, but yeah, you've full cerebral palsy. And I was like, right. So I went to play for those guys. And it was fucking awesome. They still train today. I stopped playing after my mum died. I just went off the fucking rails. I've tried to get back into it a few times. I don't really have the time to commit to playing it. But they would take you away on trips. I played in 2 or 3 European Championships. They'll play World Cups. They'll play home nations. I played against Argentina, Brazil, Portugal, England, Spain, Russia, Poland, like all countries around the world. It's insane. It's really, really good. And disability sport is something I'm very passionate about. It doesn't really matter the sport. It's good to let disabled people know there is this community you can also play sport in. And you can play it not totally fair. No sport is ever totally fair. People will have advantages always, but it's like these are people with your same condition. You're playing on that equal playing field.
It's a level playing field, yeah. And what about in terms of connecting with people then?
Met so many people that like I still talk to this day who all have they're all different levels of cerebral palsy, and it was good to just share things. And like there's things that I never associated with cerebral palsy, like my terrible memory. You have to tell me something 3 times really before I take it in.
Yeah,
that's common because I have a fucking head injury, and I never looked at it like that. And that's why even now when people are like, did you forget when I told you this? And I'm like, yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did, because I sometimes forget where I fucking live.
And that's okay.
Yeah, but around the football time, I'm like, oh, you see people in worse head injuries, and you're like, oh shit, this really is what a head injury can do to you. And just, we all like would congregate and talk about like, oh, we fucked this up, or like, we can't do this is hard, isn't it? And that gave me a level of self-confidence to be like, oh, I'm not just, I would always feel like I was just a complete idiot.
Yeah.
Like I just was useless.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that, it was just things with my disability that I never really associated it with.
Yeah, and that's so cool, like that, even connecting, and I suppose it's not just people with disabilities that you can connect with, they make you, to help you have a better understanding of yourself.
Yeah.
It's like other people like who maybe stuck, like have depression, you know, like you can go to different groups and stuff, and then you can say, right, this is how I feel. And like even for myself, going to Alcoholics Anonymous, like going into the meetings and saying to people like, how I'm getting on, how's my day.
Yeah.
You feel that sense of belonging, and you don't feel like you're on your own. Back to what we were talking about earlier, because whenever you're have a certain condition or an illness, or you're just not feeling great, you feel like you're the only person in the world going through that. And
it's good that we had this community. It also gave me more of a wide scope of disabilities, because I played for Northern Ireland cerebral palsy team, but I also played for Beaver Blades, which was a general disability team. So there's people with cerebral palsy, people in wheelchairs, people with Down syndrome, people who were blind, people who were deaf. Every spectrum of disability, that's who was playing for this team. Yeah. And it just gave me such an understanding.
Jake Eamon will get a game.
100% if you want to play, yeah.
We'll have Eamon with us, everybody. Yeah. The main man.
Did you play a bit of football, Eamon?
Eamon scored a goal, so he did, for St Malachy's Gaelic team.
Good man.
Under 21, didn't you? Yeah. And he's the main man. He takes our Camogie team and all with us now, but he's the boss.
Good man.
So we'll have to get him a game. He'll score a few goals, won't you?
100%. There's disabled leagues and all in football all around Northern Ireland. Yeah. Teams all around the place just with general disabilities.
Class.
That's fucking awesome. And there's people who devote their time. That's their job, to look after these teams, and that's very admirable. It's very fucking. It's a good thing to devote your time to.
It's amazing. And I suppose they get a lot of energy out of it too. But it's class.
Yeah.
But no.
And it also. It made me like, do you know how some people like never laugh at someone with a disability ever? Sometimes they do funny shit. Disability aside, you know, I mean, just because he's blind or whatever doesn't mean what he did wasn't fucking funny.
You have good crack with him.
100%, because people always get that means like, I don't want to laugh at yourself. Well, it's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's funny. I fall.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And because I just loved playing football with those guys, because everyone, the attitude towards disabled people is always, oh, bless them.
God help them.
God help them. They're just people.
100%.
Do you know what 100%.
I mean? And I think I understand.
Some of them are cunts. Like, some of them are nasty people.
I know. And I think I understand that even more, just because I do have that special connection with Eamon, and I just be like, we spend most days with each other, don't we, Emo?
Yeah.
And like, have the best of crack. Go in like, I would take him in. I don't drink, but I'd take him in, take him for a pint, and he'd have a pint. You know, and it's just generally good crack. Where we're over watching the Liverpool match last season and stuff like that. It's just like people, but we're walking through the shopping centre and people are like, I'm like, you're not see the conversation we're after having 5 minutes ago about women and everything. Yeah. You know, like we're you know, I very much treat him like he's just the same as me, and he loves that. You know.
Yeah, I had a friend in the football team who had Down syndrome, and all he wanted to talk about was tits. Like, literally, that was it. That's all he ever.
We'll say no more about that. But
like, oh, that was a good game, wasn't it? Yeah. Like, there's a girl over there with big boobs. And I'm like, all right, man, fucking.
Yeah.
So it's nice that it's not that. Like, and you get frustrated then with other people who just say that stereotype. Even when I say I'm disabled, they go, oh.
Yeah.
Don't fucking spark you out, you bastard. Don't awe me.
100%. And that's a good way to be, but isn't it? Even to make a joke of things and stuff like that. It's good. It's important, and even me, like sometimes you just have to laugh at yourself for the madness. You know, like some of the mad things you've done. Even now, like you still make mistakes. Your head still be in mad places. And sometimes you just have to laugh it off and go, you know what, fuck, give yourself a break. You know, and that is sometimes the best thing to do. But that was amazing. I really enjoyed that chat.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's weird to do one that's really serious.
I know that. I was like, and that's the thing with Paddy too. Paddy really opened up in his, and the amount of people come back and was like, I didn't know you were like that. Do you know?
Yeah.
But you're a comedian, but you're a fucking human.
Paddy's far more intelligent than people give him credit for.
100%. But
I think he's just a wingnut.
Yeah,
and he is. But he is far more intelligent than people think.
And he has a wonderful story too.
Absolutely.
As do you, and I think it's very, very powerful that you keep doing what you're doing, like, and keep giving people hope
Thank you very much,
to
man.
go on
Thank
to
you.
the future. And is there any wee tip of advice that you would have for anybody who does have a disability, or jeepers, lost a parent,
Yeah.
or was caught up in drugs, or like?
I wouldn't have taken this advice myself. Talk to people. You're not alone in suffering that, or if you have a problem, you're not the only person. It doesn't have to even be in person. You can go online. There's counselling lines and shit. And also, if you're ever like, you know, you feel your disability or your circumstances stops you from doing a certain thing, or you're afraid of what people will say or think, just fucking do it anyway. Fuck them.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can do is you tried and didn't make it.
Yeah.
But you still tried.
And if you
And
didn't,
that's better than always wondering what if.
exactly, because if
Far
if
better.
you didn't try, you would never know.
Yeah.
You'd
So
never
fuck
know.
them. Do it.
Class. That was
Yeah.
unreal. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much,
And a
man.
huge thanks to Century Electrical Wholesale for sponsoring episode 10. Great support as usual from all the sponsors every week, and I couldn't do it without you. So thanks to Collie Donnelly and the rest of the lads, and I will see you all soon. Cheers.